Hey guys, it's the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you an awesome video, one of my best videos yet, of which parks should get a stand-up coaster from B&M. This is my opinion of which amusement parks should get B&M stand-up coasters. And the final option is kind of odd, but yeah. My first option is Six Flags Over Texas. The reason why I'm saying this is that Over Texas has not gotten a brand new roller coaster, not a renovation, in years. It's been a long time since they've gotten a new roller coaster. Their most recent coaster was the new Texas Giant in 2011 or 2010. So it's been a while since they've added a brand new in-house built roller coaster from a company, not a renovation of an old coaster, like the new Texas Giant was, or what Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast was, where they made the trains go backwards instead of forwards for launch. So this is where I think this ride could go. Okay, so I'm on Google Maps. Again, I rarely use this in my videos, but I think this stand-up coaster should be right by the new Texas Giant. Put some DC theming, maybe. Something like that, like the Riddlers Revenge, I don't know. But they're already getting a flat ride called Riddlers Revenge, so they should name it to, a DC hero or something. The roller coaster could go, interact with this creek called Johnson Creek. But it could have, an out and back layout instead of a twister layout. It could have, corkscrews and loops all over the place, and then have a turn and then keep going back, and then it could hit the brakes. I could see this happening, I could see it not happening, but that's just my opinion. My next option is Valley Fair, and a lot of people are saying, oh, they should not get a stand-up coaster because Cedar Fair doesn't really want to buy stand-up coasters anymore. They're out of style. Well, yeah, they're out of style, but I think this would be a good fit for Valley Fair. It would be the first B&M to ever be in Valley Fair or in Minnesota at all. It could be a gate coaster, possibly, if they have enough space. And it would give them a kick-butt roller coaster that goes upside down. Except for the fact that you're standing up, but the stand-up coasters by B&M have gotten smoother and smoother over the years. So that's why I think Valley Fair should get a stand-up. I could see them getting a B&M invert as well, but I'm not talking about speculation or rumors. My third option is Six Flags St. Louis, and I said in my decade plan for this park that they should get a wing coaster, but a stand-up coaster could be the possibility. It could be themed to, to the Riddler, like Riddler's Revenge. It could have 4 to 7 inversions, 60 miles an hour. And let's check where it should go. Okay, this is the spot where I think Six Flags St. Louis should put their ride. They could tear down this movie theater, which they could also make an SNS 40 free fly. But their stand-up coaster could have some very good inversions that go over the Screaming Eagle roller coaster. It could act as a near-miss element, which would be very cool. And I think this would be an interesting fit for the park. The next park is Hershey Park. And I think Hershey Park should get a stand-up roller coaster because they're overall fun rides. They don't really work with B&M, and Intamin doesn't make stand-up coasters anymore. So the B&M stand-up coaster could be kind of unlikely, but Hershey Park could break records, like first stand-up coaster over 200 feet. World's first launched stand-up coaster. Something like that. Most inversions on a stand-up coaster. My next option is Holiday World. I know they got a B&M winged launch coaster, but I think a stand-up would fit in with their lineup. It would give them another looping coaster, but the first looping coaster in the park to have a chain lift hill, because their only looping coaster is a launch coaster. Okay, for a stand-up coaster at Holiday World, I think it would be a challenge, but there's this piece of land right here, which I'm filming at. Could be the perfect spot to make a stand-up coaster. But it wouldn't be as wide of a ride, but it could be a very compact ride. It could be a bit more intense because it's compact. It could have about 4 inversions, 60 miles an hour, about 130 feet tall. I think this would be an interesting fit for Holiday World. My next option is Michigan's Adventure. Now this park has only 2 looping coasters, an aerodynamics corkscrew model called Corkscrew, and a Vekoma SLC called Thunderhawk. And a lot of people do not like the corkscrew because it's rough. I get that because I rode it, and it's pretty rough. And with their SLC, I found a strategy to not bang my head on it so I wouldn't be as rough and wouldn't be as painful. And this SLC is considered one of the better SLCs I've heard. But still, an SLC ain't as good as a B&M stand-up or a B&M invert. But I'm not talking about B&M inverts, I'm talking about the B&M stand-up coaster. But where could the stand-up coaster go? Okay, so I'm on Google Maps, and Michigan's Adventure looks like it's landlocked, but it's actually not. I'm looking at the park right now, and there's some land here by Wolverine Wildcat and the Thunderhawk. They could remove this water ride right here and make a B&M stand-up coaster right there. It could be pretty compact and intense and very fun. It could probably have a few inversions. It could be the smoothest coaster at Michigan's Adventure. And they could also put it on this lake here. It could have a lake interaction. Or they could remove this attraction here and use the lake to make a giant stand-up coaster. And Michigan's Adventure can make a massive pathway right next to Wolverine Wildcat. And it could be like right here where I'm pointing. From here to here. And you can pass their SLC. It could be a very nice fit. And the stand-up coaster could possibly become the second best coaster in the park, or the best possibly, depending on how many inversions there are. My next option is Moreys Piers, and this is one of the best boardwalk parks out there. They have a few notable additions, not that notable, but they're pretty good rides. They're Vekoma Boomerang, Sea Serpent, which is all white. It should be green. And they also have the Great White. And other than that, they don't really have any notable additions. They have 3 family coasters and an SLC. So I can imagine Moreys Piers instead of their GCI wooden coaster plan, which they're planning to do, they could make a B&M stand-up coaster instead. It'd be pretty interesting. It could be the first B&M at Moreys Piers, and it should be launched because Gale Force at Playland's Castaway Cove is a launch coaster coming to that park in 2016 along with 2 other roller coasters. So I could see Moreys Piers countering with that with a launched stand-up coaster. They could break a lot of records with it. First launched stand-up coaster, and it would be an interesting fit. My next option is Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Now, Six Flags Discovery Kingdom is a very good park, but they have a 150 feet height limit. So, I could imagine Six Flags Discovery Kingdom trying to replace one of their current coasters, which is Kong, which I'm going to try and zoom in here, which is their Vekoma SLC. It's very rough and one of the worst coasters at the park, and it's probably one of the worst SLCs. So I can imagine a B&M stand-up coaster replacing it. It could be a bit smaller of a stand-up. It could have about 2 or 3 inversions, maybe a vertical loop, an incline loop, and a corkscrew. But I can imagine this being one of the better coasters at Discovery Kingdom. My next option is King's Dominion, and I can imagine this park becoming the launch coaster capital of the world. They already have 3 awesome launch coasters, a family launch coaster called Backlot Stunt Coaster, Volcano the Blast Coaster, which is pictured here, and Flight of Fear, which is pictured here. And those are all fun launch coasters, and I can imagine them replacing one of their old coasters, Anaconda, for this stand-up coaster. and it could be going over the lake. It could be called Serpent or Anaconda or something like that. And it would be a pretty good fit for King's Dominion. And my final option is Navy Pier in Chicago, Illinois. This is a kind of odd one in my opinion, but I'm going to talk about it. Navy Pier, I believe they have some notable rides like a Ferris wheel and some other rides and awesome indoor attractions that aren't rides, and they have some good restaurants. So I could imagine Navy Pier trying to build a roller coaster, so I could see them building this stand-up coaster. Now let's see where it should go. But here's the problem with Navy Pier getting a stand-up roller coaster or any single roller coaster. They're landlocked. And seriously, they're more landlocked than a lot of these parks. Even Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, they have an SLC that they can replace for a stand-up coaster. But Navy Pier, they can't really get a stand-up coaster at all. It'd be very hard to, and wait. There might be some land here that could be possible, I don't know. It's a pretty big challenge to find a good spot for Navy Pier to have a roller coaster or any notable coaster. Or they could just have a roller coaster that begins here in the station and then interacts with the water a little bit, and it's pretty compact and heads back. I could see that happening, but it's kind of hard to figure out if they'll add a roller coaster ever. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. And this is one of my longest videos I've ever did. Thanks for watching.